Now they have a collective groan whenever I make bad jokes, but that's a different problem.
Yeah, puns, man. All right, looks like they're off actually. So we're getting started in 1-1 here. Kirbo got started.
No.
Ooh, taking a death there.
That jump is actually pretty tricky, and that's why like you just saw Brocis jump into the pipe instead of doing the little wiggle jump that Kirbo did. It's a little slower than the little wiggle jump or whatever they call that over that piranha plant, but it's infinitely safer, especially in a race scenario. I mean, you might get that second, or you might lose a few.
It's not that much slower, honestly. Like fractions of a second slower.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of those things, especially with P speed in this game and just the way it works. Few seconds in every stage will start adding up quickly. And Kirbo losing his mushroom now here, a little shaken up maybe. Does know where that mushroom is here in 1-2, so we'll still have a power-up heading into the fortress. Which, I guess if you wanted to talk about that whistle, now's a good time.
Yeah, so it is the warpless category, but we're going to see both runners attempt to grab this whistle here because it is the fastest way to beat the fort. And brocis actually does a great job of getting the speed strat, getting the quick leaf grab there with P speed, maintaining it to the end. We're going to see Kirbo attempt to do the same thing here. Unfortunately, his second jump was just a little too late, so he didn't maintain P speed. I also anticipate both runners in 1-5 here are going to damage boost like we saw brocis just do there. It is worth noting that tunnel, there is a little swag tunnel you can do that does save a few frames where I think MFP is probably the most famous user of that.
I'm sure someone will start spamming that emote any minute now. But yeah, that stretch just looks cool.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and it's pretty tough to pull off too. Requires some very accurate jump timing and jump power as well.
More power to Kirbo for going for that jump, or something like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like brocis makes it through 1-6. My personal least favorite level in the entire game because. So with the P speed strat here, sometimes the P speed check, which occurs every 8 frames, occurs over that gap there, and you'll start to lose P speed if it does. So good for both runners able to get the P speed strat here and make it through.
Yeah, that is much harder than it actually should be to try and make that jump. And then you still have to work out landing on the Paracupa, just barely off the screen. Good job, everybody making the jump. Both of them getting the Fire Flower from the Hammer Brothers spot, saving a couple frames of a power-up animation since the game doesn't completely freeze up. You leave the Hammer Brother level on a set timer. Both of them making their way onto this World 1 airship now. Hooray for auto-scrollers in Mario 3.
It actually saves, I've been told anyway, this was Darbian talking about it, that it was 30 frames for the grab, and then a bro movement actually is 29 frames. So you save a frame if you get a movement of 2 there, and it stays in that spot.
There was a race a few rounds ago where across 2 levels they both had 3 Hammer Brother movements, but like they had the 1 and the 2 split up differently, and the gap in the stage was like exactly the same. It was amazing. Brocis with a pretty standard stomp kill of Larry. We'll see if Kirbo goes for a fire kill here. It's slightly faster if you can get it. Of course, if you're not entirely certain about it, faster, just go straight to jumps. Don't even waste your time.
Yeah, it's much safer to just do that. But as you mentioned, it is one of the easier Koopa Kid kills. You have to know what pattern you're going to get going in there as well, and that pattern can change depending on where you fight the Hammer Bro, because the Koopa Kid patterns are determined between the time it takes you to finish the last level of the world, in this case 1-6, and enter the pipe on the airship. And they don't count the Hammer Bros as a level, so that does come into the calculation.
Ooh. There's way too much lore to how that that pattern is calculated.
Yeah, well, it gets really complicated here in like World 2 as well, where you can get movements of 1 or movements of 2. beforehand, and you can fight Hammer Bros in weird spots as well.
Both runners having a pretty good 2-1. Kirbo actually having a slight adventure amongst the micro Goombas. Brocis getting through 2-2. 2-2 is one of my least favorite obstacles in this game, with that platform above the water somehow, sometimes just eating all of your momentum and ruining your jump to start getting over the whole lake.
Yeah, I personally hate the wood block, man. If you slide all the way down that slide,
oh man,
you just will rocket over it. And then you end up dead.
Kirbo avoiding getting 3 stars in a row. A lot of people know for this game, if you get 3 of a kind on the cards at the end of each level, you will get some bonus 1-ups with a large fanfare and a beautiful animation that takes longer than just clearing the stage.
Yeah, you know, it's for the swag.
Speed, most of the time you'll get it, but yeah, it's good swag. It is good swag. I'm gonna stammer through that forever though, so it's better to watch 2-3.
Yeah, so this stage is pretty straightforward. Most runners choose to do the strat that Brocis is doing here. There is another strat where you grab the red shell and maintain P-speed to the end, and it is a little faster, but I don't really think many people do that one outside of Lasso.
I've seen a few other people, even besides Lasso, go for it. It doesn't save too much time to get the red rocket, but it definitely looks really swaggy. The trick is, you know, getting one of these Koopa shells and bringing it all the way over can be a little slower in its own right, as opposed to just running over. Of course, you do have to still dodge the fire snakes. 2-3, a level where there's a lot of flat ground early on. You'd have to kind of know where to go to dodge those snakes. And otherwise, the next biggest obstacle is not getting hit by this Koopa shell that's bouncing around. Brocis, though, is actually going to 2-4 here after the Angry Sun level. Gets hit, but still keeps him P-speed. Clips!
Nice frame perfect jump there to actually maintain P-speed out of that. So when you have P-speed and you get that forward momentum stop, generally you end up losing it. But if you jump on the first frame when you land, you can actually maintain P-speed for something like 5 jumps. It's insane.
Kirbo there also holding right through the screen transition to basically move through the Hammer Brother. That's, I mean, I'm sure it is a glitch, but any one of you could try it at home and probably get it. Just don't try it on SNES, it won't work there.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the few differences. You can buffer that movement, so anytime you have a screen transition, generally what happens in this game when you try to like hold the directional arrow in a direction, you have like half a second of lag time, but during a screen transition, that occurs during the transition, so you don't have to worry about it. And you'll skip right over that bro. So you have one frame in order to skip that bro, and you can just, you know, move in a frame perfect way every time that way.
Yep, and that's good because in World 2, it's actually a rather recent development that people noticed. You know, that Hammer Brother that has the hammer, the thing we actually want. I believe in World 2, it moves to the right first after it stops moving. It might be moves to the left. I'm going to get it wrong. It moves to a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's left.
Yeah, it looks to the left. Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, it's new. But
yeah,
so
it's 6 months maybe, something like that.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
But, either way, it lets us avoid the other Hammer Brother that we really don't want to bother fighting, because it would take about 20 seconds to fight it.
Yeah, I think earlier today, Stewie Cartman took credit for that one, finding that one.
Thanks, Cartman. Brocis getting through like, Morton's airship without too much trouble.
Yeah, this, I don't know, any auto-scroller, you just gotta keep yourself busy, because they're the same every time. Just make sure that you don't get behind yourself, or, you know, stop paying attention and accidentally take some damage.
What a fire kill.
Yeah, so I'm surprised he went for that one, and he didn't go for the Larry fire kill, because that one is, in my opinion, the hardest in the game.
anyone where you're bouncing off the Koopa while it's jumping through the air and still firing fireballs, that's a little crazy. But it looks great.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice little time save on that Koopa Kid.
Kirbo without fire, not really challenging the Rocky Wrenches. Gets 1,000 points for stomping, though. Good work. They won't help at all with the race, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, you know, he wants to win at least in the point total.
See, you talk about the auto-scrollers being boring. We just talked all over 3-1. Nobody cares about 3-1.
Wow. I mean, I'm not going to say that's the easiest stage in the game, but that's the easiest stage in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually is. Just swimming and a P-speed jump.
Yep. And you don't even need an item for it. Like, sure, we could say that 6-9 is easier, but is it really? I mean, it's only easy because we use an item.
6-9 doesn't even count as a stage. 3-2 actually does have interesting things to say about it. I guess we'll talk about Cheap hitboxes while he's in 3-3 and Kirbo's making his way to 3-2. So, Cheap's along with a few of the Koopalings. Kirbo, don't make this level hard on us. Sometimes they just jump so fast. They just, by the time the game goes back to check where are they in relation to Mario, they're already inside Mario's hitbox. And the game says, well, that's very nice they hit Mario's feet, but Mario's taking damage and Cheap's living. It can ruin a lot of 3-2s.
Yeah, it's awful. Brocis actually maintained P-speed out of that pipe, which means he didn't rub on the pipe at all. He got the perfect entry there. There is a P-speed strat in 3-2 as well that we see a decent amount of people go for. It is pretty difficult because the jumps you do off the Cheaps depend on how fast you got the P-speed as well because their location change. So yeah, it's can be a little tricky.
P-speed in this game is one of those things like you could probably write, maybe not a master's thesis, but you could do like a senior project for your bachelor's on.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not intuitive at all either.
I don't know what Kirbo's doing in 3-3, but he still has a power-up. Okay, okay.
Yeah, he didn't get hit by Boss Bass, so that's a good thing.
Gross.
It is worth noting that you do not want to die here. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, because it allows you to cloud over 3-6 because that bridge will be open, and both runners want to skip that because it's a long auto-scroller. It is also worth noting that sometimes you get unlucky and one of the bros will run away over 3-6, and you'll have to generally take a death in that auto-scroller or play it, so hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody here.
Hopefully. Brocis had a Hammer Bro move in that direction, but then it came back down to the other side of 3-4. Didn't actually go off the map, but it was threatening.
Yeah, it's always a bad feeling.
Kirbo done with the fortress. Brocis having a very clean 3-8. Kirbo's Hammer Brother is down at the bottom on the other side of 3-5, which is probably the safest place it could possibly be.
Yeah, he's not going to get one unless he takes a bunch of deaths, so...
Yeah, once you take a bunch of deaths, you have a lot of other problems.
Yeah.
I mean, the one you want out of those two Hammer Brothers is the hammer, which I believe he already got now. So he's, even with a death, he would skip the star.
Yeah, in my race,
not quite making that H jump.
In my race yesterday, they actually switched, and then the hammer ran away, and that does happen in the Task World 3, but unfortunately the star still got in my way, so it was really bad.
No. Almost task luck.
Yeah, and then it turned into really bad luck. If that does happen and the hammer runs away, you end up having to play generally World 4 Fort 1. At the time, I didn't even realize that it was the hammer that ran away because it never happens. So,
yeah, it's so rare. It's like on the level of early Hammer in World 2. Probably even rarer, I'm not even sure.
I'd say it's rarer. I think it's the first time I've ever had it happen, so...
I think I've seen it twice, and I'm hearing about it now, like, outside of the TAS a third time. So, brocis is on the World 3 airship. As much as this is, you know, just another auto-scroller. Thank you, Kirbo. Okay, yeah, there's some stream syncing going on. Wendy is probably the hardest Koopaling to get a jump kill on because of all the bracelets she sends spinning around the room. Especially like as soon as she lands, most bosses in the Mario series, you know, they get up, you jump on them, you don't even let the fight get started. Wendy likes to make sure that doesn't happen unless you really know what you're doing. Fortunately, it's a flat surface. It's an easy fire kill. So here we go. Wendy likes to do that. Just hop over those fireballs. Fortunately, with one jump already in the tank, you can just trade hits the rest of the fight.
Yeah, that is not a fight you want to die on.
Yeah, especially because in Mario 3, if you die on the airship, it travels to a random spot on the map, which may well be between levels you have not cleared, and you'll be forced to play levels you don't want to play.
Yeah, it seems to happen more often than not in that world too, especially because the bridge may or may not be open.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it would be faster to play both 3.4 and 3.7 or to play 3.6 anyway. I'm sure people know the answer, but it's one of those things you only care about in a race.
Yeah, pretty much.
P-speed strat for 4-1. Using that red Koopa to take out the Para Koopa, as much as it doesn't look like it's going to happen, that's very reliable. Kirbo about to go into the Wendy fight.
The shell strat there. There is a faster strat than that by a little bit, but it is more difficult. And that strat isn't easy itself, so...
Good fire kill for Kirbo.
Yeah, he's opting to grab that upgrade there. I don't know about you, but I actually have trouble making it through 4-3 as Small Mario, because it changes one of the jumps you do.
I'm still in the club that it's just sort of learning the stage, and not even really learning the stage. At this point, I've just watched it enough to know it, but I still need a star to get P-speed in the first place. 4-3, for the uninitiated, is the level a lot of veterans of this game say is their favorite level because it really shows off P-speed. They say if you want to learn how P-speed works in Mario 3, learn 4-3. Just forget all the other stages and focus on this one.
It's one of the cooler looking strats. It just, I don't know, it looks super swaggy being able to run through it and not die. Because there are, especially at the end there, it can be a little tricky making those jumps on those islands in the sky there.
Yeah, keeping P-speed at the start of that mess is the hardest part of it. And after that, it's kind of memorizing the level, blind faith, and especially those jumps at the very end. You really start to see how P-speed lets you jump ridiculously far compared to normal jumps. brocis not going to jump over the top in 4-4. Kirbo having a very interesting end to 4-2, does escape.
Yeah, I think brocis got a little ahead of the Lakitu there, and then the Lakitu sped ahead of him, so yeah, I think he just missed his timing.
Don't get hit by the spiny, you get the pipe, brocis.
Yeah, those Lakitus, you know, Mitch says this all the time, they're essentially like magnets. They'll just follow you, and then they'll overtake you again. So you got to kind of time that jump to make it in the top section. You can get P-speed up there as well, and that does depending on whether you get P-speed, kind of does change how the second Lakitu reacts to you as well a little bit.
Kirbo having an exciting end of 4-3, but makes it.
Yeah, this is not going to be a good feeling going into 4-4, so I'm kind of curious to see what he does.
Might opt to just get the power up.
So it is worth noting that the bro he opted to skip there was actually the P-Wing, because the P-Wing in this world turns right after movement, and he's going to need one of those anyway. But the thing is, if he did fight that bro since they switched, there's a good chance the other one would have turned back on him anyway.
Kirbo goes over the top, gonna try and get through the stage and not get sniped just like that. That's the opposite of good.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's not really a stage you want to be Small Mario in. It's a really bad feeling when you are.
Kirbo also just had Hammer Brothers switch on him. I'm not sure which one was the Cloud Bro. I haven't been tracking it the whole time, but more often than not, I think I just saw the Cloud Bro switch with the Star Bro. So we'll see what he opts to do with his Hammer Brothers.
I think you're right on that. I think that was the Cloud Bro.
Brocis.
Generally, it's the Star Bro that switches with him. I don't know whatever reason, it's always that bro that seems to switch with it.
I don't know if they must have switched back to be in that position.
Or no, this is the Cloud. Okay, the
Cloud is 3 bros, and they can only pick 2 directions. So whatever. Looks like he's going to get into multiple fights here, though. So he might as well get his P-Wing here in World 4 at this rate, since the only bro left is the P-Wing.
Yeah, it's just one of those strange bro mechanics where if they switch, it seems like they'll be able to come back on you, and that's the only time that really happens.
World 4 Airship is the slowest moving auto-scroller in the game. It is not the longest level in the game. But only real thing to do on it is there are 11 coins at the beginning. We haven't talked about coin ships yet because nobody's been in peril of getting a coin ship to this point. But if you have a multiple of 11 coins and your tens digit matches that multiple of 11, so if you had 66 coins and 60 points, you would be worried about getting a white coin ship from one of the normal Hammer Brothers in Worlds 1, 3, 5, and 6. And Kirbo does claim that P-Wing. Yeah, so the only real thing to do on this airship is set your coin total to something not a multiple of 11.
It seems to work out best if it's, people get like 67 coins or 69 coins. The 1 and 3 after 11 seem to be good points to get there, just because it seems to work out well with the coins that you get in World 5 with the strats.
Yeah, just one of those coincidences that 69 actually does happen to be a good number of coins to have, just based on the pattern of coins you get in World 5.
Yeah, and of course they get it for the memes.
Oh yeah, gotta respect the memes. Brocis and like Kirbo actually
is leaving.
Going to be looking at
leaving as Kirbo's entering. Yeah, that is a good point actually, because there are only 2 stages in this world, other than the airship, where you can grab one. So
2 that we're playing anyway. I'm trying to think where the other ones are. We're not going to 5-3. No one cares about 5. Well, a lot of people care about 5-3, but it's a really long, slow level for Warpless. 5-2 might have one on the bottom route, but we have no desire to ever see the bottom route. Come on, Brocia, stay up top. Okay.
Did it.
Okay.
Yeah,
everybody saw him do that perfectly.
The flower in here actually is in that pipe right there that he just passed, so...
Yeah, the first of the 2.
And there's also, I believe, a Tanuki suit in there as well.
Brosis has 77 coins, but had 30 points, so he wasn't in danger. I almost just, sprayed my Pepsi. It's like, dude, 70, what are you doing? Ticks on the timer, for what it's worth, are worth 50 points. Bricks are worth 10. That's how you manipulate that tens digit. So even if you have it, you can still get out of trouble by ending with an odd time. If that said, you also have to keep in mind, if you're on the opposite number for the time, don't end up on an odd number. You can see just how long this airship is. Kirbo's still here in a tight spot because he wants to make that jump to get onto the top so he doesn't have to go through this flame gauntlet here. Doesn't execute the strat, actually loses fire, so now he's going to have to get through here even, hopefully without taking too many hits. There is a power-up if you want to wait like an extra 5 seconds on the very right edge of that airship. There's another leaf power-up. Okay.
That's not easy to make it through there without taking damage, so he did a great job of that, and, you know, it's probably not something he really ever has to do either.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, in auto-scrollers, you know, there's no other strats to learn, so it's just kind of survive for the most part. Just your core Mario instincts have to take over in a situation like that.
So yeah, as mentioned, he can re-grab that fire in 5-2 if he so chooses. And I don't know if that's faster or not, just because you have the 2 extra pipe transitions, and I don't know.
I feel like it's not, unless like you basically have strats that you don't want to mess with not having fire. Brocis is going for that Paracupa jump. Taking the end of it a little tentatively there. Like he wasn't sure what he got himself into.
That's one of the scariest stages in the game to me, because if you mess up any of those jumps, you just die.
Yeah. 5-4 it's actually pretty easy to do casually, because you just have to just make the jumps. But if you want to go fast at all, and believe me, you lose a lot of time if you don't go fast. Kirbo staying up top in 5-2 as well. Good work there. Definitely not worth going in that pipe to get a mushroom. Yeah,
no, because there's so many other places you might just take a death to, so that it's like whatever at that point. Lot of instant death mechanics in World 5.
World 5, easy to go slow and deadly to go fast in.
Yep.
Brocis, by the way,
nice
close to 99
speed
coins.
threat there. Oh shit! Yeah, I just noticed that.
Kirbo, very nice 5-4. Brocis actually does need to fight that Hammer Bro. If he does not, he will have to fight the second Piranha Plant in World 7. Hammer Bro much easier than the Piranha Plant level, with or without fire.
Yeah, that Hammer Bro sometimes kind of runs away, so and you gotta chase him down there. I think he's good on coins though, as long as he stays on, you know, the even numbers here.
Well, actually what's going to happen here that's going to save him is he's going to break a brick, and that's going to take care of everything. Please kill the Hammer Bro after I said that.
Plus the Hammer Bro's dead, so he doesn't have to worry about it anymore either.
Although the World 6 ones you do have to worry about. Because even though the coin ship doesn't actually appear until you exit a thing, the first thing you do in World 6 is go through a pipe transition, at which point the white coin ship can strike. So it's very important to not enter World 6 with a coin ship scenario. And you might be thinking, wow, Cad, there were no coins in the way there. He's going to get 2 right here from that Lakitu. And if he missed the card, a third egg would come out. He'd have 99 coins, and we would be looking at things. Skipping 5-9, allegedly the worst level in the game.
Allegedly. Best level in the game.
I mean, a lot of people say it's the worst level in the game. I say a lot of people don't know how to pronounce 7-4. There's a few other opinions out there. 4-4 makes the list sometimes. 4-4 is probably like the worst non-auto scroller.
It's up there, man, for sure. I don't know. I still go with 1-6. I hate that. I hate that P speed.
Yeah, but 1-6 though is like a level that's it falls into that gap of it's hard to do the speed strat, but it's easy to just beat the stage.
Yeah, that's true.
7-4, 5-9, even 4-4, just hard to clear it all. Speaking of hard to clear, there's my transitional material for you. Roy's airship. The airship itself has this little gauntlet section where you want to make a jump onto the top. Oh my goodness, I didn't want it to happen like that. Okay, good work. Nice recovery. But Roy Koopa, at the end, what I really was trying to talk about, can shake the floor every time he lands. Very easy for Mario to get stun locked if you make a false move. So, good work getting through that fight.
Yeah, Ludwig, or some people call him Ludwig too. I don't know which one it is. Is it Ludwig or Ludwig?
I would believe Ludwig, but like I don't know the pronunciation from there.
Yeah, he's the second of the two thick boys, and he does the same thing, but he doesn't seem to jump as high as Roy. Maybe he's older or something.
He is the oldest Koopaling, but I don't know like how old he is, because he's certainly younger than Bowser, and Bowser jumps plenty high in this game, even though he doesn't shake the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Well, so does Morton, and Morton looks pretty thick too. So you're like, you know. But I don't know, maybe he just hasn't grown in his shell yet. His shell's just extra thick.
Morton just knows how to move around with finesse.
So yeah, as you mentioned, I think on the airship, Brocis is gonna damage boost here.
No, that's not the damage boost we were looking for.
That is a damage boost, just not the one you want.
That's a damage boil. Now he also has to watch out for these Pottabos, because they do jump up high enough to tag Mario, and small Mario doesn't like being tagged. Kirbo making his way through 5-8, the level that Nintendo Power claims you can't get through without taking damage.
Doing the impossible.
Shoutouts to Nintendo Power 13.
So yeah, he gets the instant kill on Boom Boom there by over flooding his health with damage, and so that gets the upside down question mark to spawn, and it's the only time you can get that to happen. You can also get it in World 8 with Hammer Suit strats. That one's kind of cool to see.
I love like the very concept. I know exactly what you're talking about because of the wacky internal calculations of Boom Boom's health. But I'm going to use that phrase more often in my everyday speedrunning. Overflow his health with damage.
Yeah, it happens all the time with the Hammer Suit. It's one of the more frustrating parts of using Hammer strats.
So these two Hammer Brothers, you can also tell which one is which by which way they're moving. I also forget, again, I think it's the one you want that is the one that moves left that has a cloud, not the one that doesn't move left and has a star.
You are correct.
But Brocis here not going after the bro immediately on the top left of that little square around the Toad House. Also not going for the despawn strat here, just taking this normally. Kirbo in a little bit of trouble here.
He's made it. He's through now.
Okay.
We're good.
He did get hit though along the way. I think he was going for another cannonball, which means all the more important he takes care of Roy properly.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Done.
I hate going for those jumps without like kind of double jumping, hitting the ground and then going up, just because there's always a chance you just mistime it and Roy pokes his head out immediately into your hitbox and you just get hit. And when you're small Mario, you don't want to get hit.
Yeah, those jumps have to be really well timed to make sure you don't get hit.
Bros is keeping the tail all the way through the fortress here, doing the first two underflies. We actually haven't talked about it at all. We mentioned P-speed and stuff like that, but if you have a tail, whether the normal tail or the Tanuki suit, there's something of a flight timer or something like that inside the game. And after a certain amount of time, regardless of how many times you've touched the ground or other things like that, the game just removes all of your P-speed in an attempt to make sure you don't just fly forever. So usually you don't see runners keep a tail very long. Usually that World 6 Fortress kind of one of the few exceptions. 7-8, another level where some players will keep a tail an extra stage or two just because it's useful. Oh my!
Yeah, it looks like.
What are you doing?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a little faster now since he grabbed that upgrade.
So the odd thing about Mario 3 iframes is This is probably an artifact of the fact that on the Japanese version of the game, you go straight from any power-up state to Small Mario. There is no back to just plain Big Mario. But Big to Small Mario's iframes are actually significantly shorter than more than Big Mario to just Big Mario's iframes. So getting that mushroom saves some time, certainly, because otherwise it is just an auto-scroller. But you just have to be a little careful with that. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and Kirbo certainly did. Brocis had a very nice 6-4-3 while I was talking about that.
Yeah, I think he actually unfortunately fell in the spike section at the beginning and lost a little time there, but he managed to get his P-speed back and make it through the rest of the fort without an issue. Sometimes when you fall in that pit, you end up taking damage twice, and really not a fort you want to be Small Mario in, because if you end up missing, something, you'll lose speed, and then it's a little tough to get through from that point.
Yeah, you don't really want the tail there anyway, so the big thing he lost is just time. Kirbo having an adventure at the end of 6-4 with the rotary lift, the little spinny lift. He does escape after a couple of, well, I think the word is clench.
Yeah, you definitely feel like that on that stage. A lot of times when that happens, that little spinner at the end ends up killing you.
He tried to go over, but once he lost P-speed, that really wasn't going to happen. Nice thing about the beginning of this World 6 airship, we're still talking auto-scrollers, levels that are questionably interesting at best. But you can just make the jumps straight over those first two. Just be careful on the second one.
Yeah, so there's also a little swag clip you can go for that he chose not to go for, and I don't blame him. I actually was on a 52 pace yesterday in an early hammer run, and I went for it, and I went early, and I ended up getting squished by the screen.
Oh, no!
So I was like, oh, I never even considered that as a possibility.
So Brocis needs to keep this mushroom here. There's a strat that requires you not be Small Mario to start 7-1. Fortunately, the Lemmy fight not too hard. Stomp Lemmy's ball, stomp Lemmy, stomp Lemmy's ball, stomp Lemmy.
I don't know what happened to Boom Boom on Kirbo's screen.
Oh,
he clipped through the block?
I haven't seen the clip fall, but at the same time, even when you stomp Boom Boom normally in a jump, he doesn't fall down immediately, so I don't know. Kirbo,
yeah, that's a new one for me.
He wasn't really looking to hit there, but he should be okay. And 6-9 is a stage you're going to immediately use a P-wing, fly over it anyway, so most runners at the end of 6-8, it's just get me out of here, damage boost everything. So how many jumps? Show me 2.
I'm gonna go with 3. Oh.
Show me 4. I'm not going to say every number as he goes for it. That would just get annoying.
Show me the number that he needs.
8? 9? Oh boy.
Yeah, this stage can be kind of
an
adventure.
Joe Smocks. I don't know if you're watching his stream or not.
So Kirbo opting to use a star here in this stage.
Terrible idea, honestly. Getting hit by the thwomp, perhaps a terrible. It's a controversial idea. I think that's the word we used too much in the last tournament. Controversial strat.
Looks like he's practiced that as Small Mario though, because he timed that last section really well. I have trouble with that if I'm small and I don't have speed.
Could be, actually. Maybe if it's by design, you know what? Good work. Brocis used the star there to clear out a path so he can use P-speed to jump over that little pit full of note blocks nobody wants to get trapped in 7-2. Kirbo, going into this airship, is going to need the power-up at the end to do the 7-1 clip. As much as 11 sounds like a really big number for clips, it's still faster than playing 7-1.
Unfortunately, Bros is taking some damage on that first Koopa jump. I feel like that's the most difficult one. But for the most part, this stage is free. Like, that Lakitu jump is free if you do a medium jump on that spot every time. You know, whether it's medium small, medium, or medium large, you'll end up jumping off him. So.
And again, 7-3, a level, it doesn't really matter. You skip what I would say the actual worst level in the game is in 7-4. Underwater auto-scroller, and then P-Wing into this fortress.
Which is an empty fortress. The only enemy in here is the Boom Boom at the end. So, I don't know, Bowser's interior decorator took the day off when he made this one.
So, your enemy in this stage is designed to be the timer. You might notice there's only 200 ticks on the clock when you come in. And there are two power-ups in the stage. One is a fire flower that's really only there to give you a mushroom. In that giant brick room at the start, there's a P-switch that unveils a door to a Tanuki suit that you're intended to have to find and puzzle out that, oh, I have to fly to find Boom Boom. So that level is just a giant sort of, haha, explore this place, please.
Pretty much. I feel like that fire flower is there to troll you as well. In 7-6 Brocis, we see him use the P-Wing there. That is the second hardest level in the game after 6-9. Definitely very difficult strat there.
Brocis using one of the tail strats here for 7-8, just fly right through that whole section. A little slower than the optimal P-speed strats that involve, I think, some damage boosting, but, you know, it gets you through the stage.
Yeah, this is just kind of one of those stages you just want to get through, you know?
It's not a trivial stage, but it is probably one of the few stages that has well-developed tail strats. And Kirbo going for clips now if you're into guessing. Brocis is going to go into 7-9. We're going to see top route or bottom route. I've lost track of clip attempts for Brocis. Now we have to start tracking clip attempts for both. For Kirbo, I should say. Whatever, they're clipping everybody. He presses up in the door! He immediately is thinking about taking a death, but I mean, you're going to be small now.
He's going to cloud it.
Not a terrible strat.
He clouded it in his last race as well, because he actually ended up small Mario there, so I knew what he was thinking as soon as that happened.
So is he going to play all three of the last few stages, or is he going to play 7-4? And he's not going to make this jump either. He's going to go for it again, though.
I believe he played 7-9 and 7-4 too last race.
Now, I've done things kind of like this here. Kirbo's plan, I would hope, is to keep this tail now. Don't fly too low. We know that one up's there, but you don't want to get caught under the note blocks. Brocis is finally making a clip. Kirbo's plan is going to probably be to keep this tail through to the fortress where he would have used that P-Wing originally. So he's looking for a damageless 7-3.
Yeah, I think that's probably the strat he's going to go with here. The other thing he can do is if he does take damage, he can clip 7-6. It functions.
But you also want you still need to make sure you get through that fortress. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
Because well, I think he still has an extra P. He has another P-Wing, right? So he can P-Wing the fortress if he has to. Yeah, I think because he should have one more since he used one on that stage. But yeah, I think you're right. That was probably his main plan, was to just maintain it. Unfortunately, oh, he got an extra P-Wing. Yes, okay, never mind.
He probably fought both bros. As long as he wasn't planning to use that P-Wing in like 8-1 or another later stage, everything I guess is more or less on track.
I think with him, he generally uses it in 7-9 because it's a little faster to run through with a P-Wing than it is just run through, and because he grabs the hammer suit after 6-5 generally.
It's always a little curious because, like, I know I'm in the crowd of runners that likes to keep a tail way too long through World 7, just to make a couple of things simpler because I don't know the game yet. Like, there's just a lot of strats. It's like, well, I could P-speed through all these stages, or I could keep this tail, and then it makes a lot of other tricks easier, and then I have extra items to use later. So it just goes deep into the item management strategy of this game.
I mean, with those strats, you can probably still get like a 55-minute, 56-minute time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you don't lose too terribly much time, but yeah, if you're going for, you know, like 53, 52-minute times, probably makes it quite a bit more difficult.
Kirbo, it looked like, was trying to see if he had a star, did not, I guess. Or whatever, he didn't feel comfortable using it, and just flies most of the way through the beginning of this level. It's going to take the hammer suit pipe. He's going to get a hammer suit.
Uses it to damage boost, but he might keep it longer here just because he doesn't have his P-Wing that he usually has.
Just duck and jump through the fireball. Good, I hope it was a good Luggo kill by Brocis. I know he has a power-up and he's holding a 1, so it must have worked out.
Yeah, he actually took some damage. He missed time of jump. But he'll be able to potentially re-grab that fire on the Navy, which is the second auto-scroller in World 8. And we generally don't get to see that fire grab in this category. It's usually no wrong warp, so that's kind of cool that we'll get to see probably an attempt here from him.
That fire flower is perhaps the most impossible power-up to grab in the game.
Yeah, you got to be really good with timing.
Even when it's just a mushroom, it's just terrible. Maybe that fire flower Kirbo just passed is more impossible to get, but that's for different reasons.
So speaking of World 8, there is the next section of the world where the hand bridge is, and we call it the hand bridge because there are 3 levels which can automatically pull you in, and the animation that pulls you in are the hands. There's a 50-50 chance of getting pulled into any single one of those stages. And so if you're doing the math, there is a 1 in 8 chance you won't get any hands, so you'll skip 3 stages, and there's also a 1 in 8 chance that you'll get all the hands. So if you end up getting all the hands, you actually got lucky, just not the luck you wanted.
So I'm not sure who is empowered here in chat to run that start command to start the guessing game, or whatever happened to it.
I think the bot's broken, it looks like. Yeah, generally there is a guessing game, so unfortunately we're just going to have to do it manually.
We're just guessing for fun today, folks. Brocis doing some lag management there, slamming bombs into other bombs. Kirbo getting hit by an atomic waffle. That gap is not that easy to get under. He just has to be careful with Boom Boom now. Good work. Kirbo played 7-9 and the fort because he elected to use a cloud after accidentally entering 7-1. So he's down a cloud.
Yeah, I didn't explain that well. Thanks, thanks, Rick.
Yeah, so typically that number is going to be between 0 and 6. That said, if you die in a hand and have to play a hand again, and both runners get all 3, that would still count as 7 hands at that point. So not impossible. You're just mean if you guess that high.
Yeah, pretty much. You're implying that someone's going to be incompetent. I don't think we've seen it yet, though, and I don't think we will at this point either.
I never say never, though. That's we were talking about baseball earlier. You say never, you're inviting it to happen.
23 hands. You know, if we see 23 hands, we're probably going to see a game over. I'm just saying.
Kirbo with some heroics to get that fire flower.
Yeah, that is an interesting point that this is one of 2 airships in the game that have 2 power-ups. And both are actually flowers.
Yeah, on Iggy's, they're both leaves. If you voluntarily enter a hand, it's no. Despite the fact that I'm watching, Brocis gets past the first hand.
Well, I think we saw someone do that earlier in the tournament. Someone entered hand 3 to get the fire flower there.
Yeah. Entering a hand level voluntarily, like you said, you could get the fire flower in the third hand. It sets a bit of a checkpoint for race purposes, so that if you die on the Air Force level, you don't have to cross the bridge again. And you also get those leaves after each one, which can be very helpful if something goes wrong in World 8. Always nice to have that in your back pocket.
It's probably better to get one hand in a race. You always want that insurance leaf, man.
It is terrifying going through this stage if you cross the bridge with no hands, and then like you don't have fire or anything else to help out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny if you're doing attempts and you know, you get to World 8 and you're on potential PB pace and you need no hands, and then all of a sudden no hands happens, and this is the next stage you do. It gets a little nerve-wracking immediately. And he does a great job here of staying out in front of this stage. There's just enough time for those rocky wrenches to be on screen to throw 2 wrenches, so they'll turn back around on you and start throwing them your direction, and all of a sudden you'll have a bunch of wrenches in the sky if you get behind, so you definitely want to stay ahead of it there.
Yeah, and those wrenches moving from left to right, they just linger on the screen. Sometimes the white wrench gets caught in front of a white cloud, and you don't even see it coming. It's bad.
Looks like he went for the P-speed strat there. Unfortunately, doesn't get it. He rubbed a little bit on the jump over that wood block. So
8-1, actually not that easy of a stage. Does avoid the coin ship scenario. Not that there's a Hammer Brother here to become one.
Yeah, at this point you don't care about your coins. As soon as you leave World 6, you're like, all right, I don't have to care about coins anymore.
Really, once you even get to past World 6 Fortress 2, even if that other one's still on the screen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, does the animation of the Hammer Bro turning into a coin ship, does that actually cost some extra time? I guess I don't know.
Technically it would cost some time, but we're talking like frames at that point.
Yeah.
It's whatever the time it takes for the game to play the kind of sound is.
So yeah, it's worth noting this fortress is the last place in the game you can grab a fire flower, so it's going to be important for him to maintain it from this point on. Yeah, I like to see that. I like to see racers go for it.
Good work getting the 1 cycle brocis. Good work, Kirbo, actually, like, not even just like the spirit of going for it, but actually still escaping with the mushroom. That's not easy.
No, it does seem like the cannonball kind of has an interesting hitbox, though, where you can basically touch it and not take damage when you go under it. It's so weird. And looks like he's... Yeah, he's forgoing the Oglib strat. I mean, very questionable decision here.
Controversial decision making.
Yeah, controversial, for sure. Yeah, that is a good point, Booba. Kirbo's potentially on PB pace here. I think it might come down to how many hands he gets.
Let me go over to thespeedrun.com.
So
open up the Mario 3 leaderboard and type in...
I don't think it's up there.
We think Kirbo is?
Yeah, I think he was at a 101.45. That's what he had in his last race in terms of his actual time.
Kirbo is not on here as Kirbo. I was about to search for brocis, but his timer just turned red.
Yeah, he has a 53.54, I think was his PB.
Yep.
But either way, this is a very good run. It should be a 55-minute run for him coming here.
Kirbo getting grabbed by the first two hands.
I swear that first hand has about a 99% chance of grabbing you.
I take credit for it most of the time, but I mean, I don't know why it didn't grab brocis.
Alright.
I didn't give that hand the day off. Kirbo, we were talking about this earlier. In this level without fire. Brocis in that level without fire!
Yeah, he meant to duck jump there and unfortunately didn't get it. Kirbo playing with fire or wrenches, you could say.
Kirbo's definitely playing with wrenches.
Oh,
because that can happen. That's why you wait to say what the answer is, because he might get this third hand now. Third hand lets him pass again. Both runners with a tail.
Yeah, this stage is not easy without a power up, and I believe he went in here without. Well, he was big Mario.
Big. So we're gonna see a jump kill on brocis' side. So the trick with Bowser in this game, for some reason, his head is the only part of his hitbox. So you can just kind of hang out down here in the lower half of Bowser. You're, at this point, hoping Bowser doesn't take a sharp angle down with a fireball, because you can still get hit by that. Mostly comes into play if you're small Mario. But then you can also maneuver to make sure it doesn't matter. So,
yeah, sometimes when you get close to him like he is here, you might take some damage if he has one of those low fireballs. But when you're small, it doesn't matter when you get to that point.
I think we saw 3 hands overall.
4,
no,
I think. I think they both got 2.
Even though the bot's not there, I'm just going to drop that in there for whoever wants to look at chat logs later. brocis finishing up, delaying as I open up SRL again. SRL time is 56:54. Pretty much lining up with live split on the screen. GG.
Yeah, it was a really great run for him, even though he had to, you know, kill him the old-fashioned way at the end. We'll see if he's interested in coming in for an interview here.
Kirbo going to go the normal way through 8-2. So let me bring up the bracket while he's making these jumps on the note blocks. Ooh, that was a spicy jump there.
Yeah, he does not believe in using the sands, even though I tell him in cases like this, maybe you should just use the sands.
So Kirbo's previous race was a 101.47. I feel like that's out of reach. Maybe I'm overestimating how long the rest of these stages take.
Yeah, I think the death in the fast airship set him back, unfortunately. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, like, as much as it feels like 3 stages and one's an auto-scroller, how's he going to do it? I mean, you have to remember No Wrong Warp is like a 10-minute run. Sand loses a fair amount of time. I feel like Kirbo knew he wasn't going to make it. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going for... Dude, he's going for swag, but those door entries are losing you time. If you enter the rightmost point of that door, you can clip through. It doesn't work on SNES because they moved the door and he released down early!
I believe... No, he didn't grab... Did he not grab the hammer suit after 6-5? He generally does. He might have forgotten to do it.
I was not paying attention, to be perfectly honest. And I don't think I saw it in his inventory.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think you're right. Interesting.
I mean, those spikes there can be a little tricky. Lots of people have controllers that the down button just doesn't work out. Maybe you get a little antsy. That happens. Oh well, you just gotta go, keep going. It's gonna just be really tight at this point, but I think we're gonna see a mid 102 if all goes well.
Yeah, I think you're right because he has to, you know, beat him the slow way now. So that stage will take 2 minutes here. But yeah, with the pace he's on now, he probably would have PB'd with a hammer suit because it is a decent amount faster than a fire flower.
That said, you also would have been probably, what is it, like another 20-30 seconds behind to have claimed that hammer suit.
Yeah, that unfortunately that death in the air or the fast air.
Yeah, the Air Force level just not helping his cause. So he's gonna have about a minute to go in and clear out Bowser. And yeah, I think it just takes longer than that to get the jump kill and have the extended fanfare play, and then the party, the after party especially. It's not going to be 1 minute.
I think it doubles the time the stage takes, something like that.
And brocis in chat doesn't have his mic, not going to come in for an interview. Mad at himself about 6-1 and Bowser's Castle, but still feels pretty good about the run in general. And congratulations and good luck against Outside Lutz. Kirbo wrapping up Bowser's Castle here. Playing the end of this level pretty good. He's going to get into Bowser's room before the splits turn red, so that's always good. And this should look familiar from about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, both runners here taking advantage of Bowser's questionable hitboxes.
It really is like, if you ever play this fight as a kid or, you know, casually and you don't know about this, you're kind of scrambling around, dodging fireballs. What do I do? Sometimes Bowser will fall down and not even break bricks. And then you learn about this and it's just like, what was I doing this whole time? Why would I ever do that?
That was the exact thing I was thinking when I started running this game and first saw that. I was like, what? Why was I ever having trouble with this as a kid?
Kirbo finishing up with an SRL time of 1:02.29. GG.
Yeah, still a really good run for him. So, you know, unfortunate that I think he probably would have PB'd otherwise.
Probably. He would have had a few good chances. I mean, things happen here and there, but still a pretty solid run, all things considered. Even with the 7-1 kerfuffle. A couple of other just nervous deaths here and there. Definitely, if Kirbo's going to continue in Mario 3, that's definitely something to build on. I like what I'm seeing. I hope Kirbo's in chat saying if he claims it up, he'll hopefully get the 1 hour soon. I hope so, because I know it. I think my PB was like within this 30 seconds that just barely got under 1 hour for like 2 years until this tournament started. I wish you much better luck than me.
I think they come in for an interview.
Well, we will see if we can get an interview from either. I mean, brocis already said doesn't have a mic available. Brocis is moving on again to face Outside Lutz. And just because of the way the winner's bracket starts coming down into the bonus bracket, whoever wins that match will get to face Oglib in the next round. So brocis has work cut out there. Fortunately for the odds against Oglib, got a 56 here, forcing Oglib to get better than a casual 57 whenever the time comes. Lutz also looking to get better than a casual 57 after couple of interesting races up to this point. At 56, that Lutz got against Rupert, much more representative of his skills. Although, even that, yeah, I would. We'll see what happens in that race. Oh, that's true. What did Lutz get today? They did have that race today. I'm looking up in the winner's bracket. Today he got a 56. I mean, I hope Lutz gets some time to practice. I mean, you never know what's going on. But yeah, I don't know if there's stuff going on in the background, or if people's internet connections have died, or whatever. But okay, Kirbo is also confirming Mike is borked. It looks like I might have lost Hacksaw here, so I guess I'm gonna try and wrap this up as best as I can. Bringing up the schedule for Mario 3. The next race we have scheduled is actually on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Lasso and Cujo. That is one of our winner's bracket round of 8 matches. No, I am sorry, final 4 matches. Good job, Lasso. I'm looking at the previous round. Your final 4 in the winner's bracket, Lasso and Cujo, your 2 seed and your 11 seed in Cujo and Lasso. The other 2 being Mitch and Chuck. So that's definitely one you will want to catch. Again, that one's scheduled for Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Of course, until then, just stay tuned to the entire Speed Gaming family of networks and just catch all of this tournament action that's going on. This is summer now. It's still spring in my head. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling and let everyone get back to watching things on Twitch. Thanks again to Brocis and Kirbo for this great race. Thanks, Hacksaw, for joining me in commentary. Sorry, whatever happened there that got you disconnected. And thanks to everyone behind the scenes in Speed Gaming, as always, working tech, getting this stream up and running for us. And that's all I've got. Have a good evening, everybody. Cab out. Don't lose cape.